Hey all you cool cats and kittens, welcome to chemistry. This is lesson 2, and in today's lesson we're going to be calculating with molarity. So in our first lesson this week we talked about this first bullet point, that molarity means concentration, and we talked about that conceptually. Today's lesson we're going to focus on this second bullet point, okay? That molarity is expressed as the number of moles dissolved in 1 liter of solution. So mathematically what that means is this equation. Now this equation is on the back of your yellow periodic table. You are welcome to write this on top of scratch paper for your end of the week quiz this week, but we're looking at molarity, or concentration, equals moles divided by liters. Okay? I'm going to switch over to my document camera and we'll do these example problems together. Alright, so let's take a look at this. Here's our equation. I want to remind you that your best strategy is to box in your givens and circle your unknown. Okay? So for number 1, it says if 0.55 moles of sodium chloride, and I'm going to stop and box that in because that's a given. I've got a number and a unit. I'm going to box that in. Okay, is added to 0.25 liters of water. Now I see 2 givens, and it asks me to calculate the molarity of the saltwater solution. So my unknown, what they're asking me, is for molarity. Now I can already see how these are going to fit into my equation. They're asking me to find molarity, which we abbreviate with capital M. Okay? They give me the volume, liters, right here, and they give me moles, M-O-L, like that. So I'm going to switch over to this because I've got mostly worked. Okay? I'll maybe see if I can get it all on the page. Look at that. Okay. So there's my equation. I'm going to substitute those values in that I boxed and circled. So I'm going to substitute X in as molarity because I don't know it. Moles goes on top, so 0.55, and liters goes on bottom. All right? Now, this is my favorite kind of algebra problem because it's not algebra, right? X is already by itself, so all we do is plug this into a calculator. You guys can hear my next door neighbor using a wood chipper on their tree for the last hour, so I just went ahead and recorded this. So sorry, not sorry about that. All right, top divided by bottom. 0.555 moles divided by the bottom, 0.25 liters, would give me a molarity of 2.22. Okay, so I would say X equals molarity equals 2.22. Now the unit for molarity is just capital M, molar. Usually we don't want you putting units in your answers in the homework checks, but 2.22. Alright, let's look at question number 2 then. For question number 2, I'm going to box and circle. It says if 0.72 moles of lithium bromide is used to make a 1.5 M solution, which is 1.5 molar solution, what is the volume of the solution made? Okay, so again, looking at our equation, I'm given moles, which is going to go on the top over here, so that's my mole value. I am given capital M, my molarity, so that's going to go on the left-hand side of my equation, and volume, remember volume is liters, so I'm solving for what's on bottom over here. Okay. Again, I'm going to switch over to this form so y'all can see that. Okay. So my equation, molarity equals moles divided by liters. When I substitute those values in, I've got my molarity equals moles that was given to me divided by my unknown volume. Okay. So for this, you need to cross multiply and divide. And some of you in your algebra, fast forward, you know how to do this, rock on. This one's not as obvious as it was with some of our other problems. So whenever you have a number equal to a fraction, your best bet is going to make both of these fractions. Okay? So if I do this and I say 1.5 divided by 1, I didn't actually change anything, right? Because 1.5 divided by 1 is still 1.5. But now I have a fraction equals a fraction, and it makes this next step much easier. Okay? So if now you can see how to cross multiply and divide, do that. The butterfly method, whatever you like. Remember, I like the crazy 8 model. We talked about this during gas laws. So I'm going to do a crazy 8 either this way or this way, so crazy, so that the x is not in my 8, which means I don't want to do it this way because that would have x. I'm going to go like this, okay? This number times this number divided by this number equals that number, okay? That's my same thing as cross multiply and divide. So putting that in my calculator, I've got 0.72 times 1. I'm going to multiply the stuff inside of my 8 divided by 1.5 equals x, 0.48, okay? 0.48, and that's volume, so that's liters, okay? I'm going to quickly work it out the long way, okay? So if this went right over your head, then watch this next part. If that didn't go over your head, fast forward to problem 3, okay? I wish I could do that in regular class. Just like have some of you fast forward and get to explain it to others. All right, so if I'm going to work this out the long way, cross multiplying, I would say this one time equals this one times this one. So I would say 1.5 times x, okay, that's these guys, equals 0.72 times 1, okay? So 0.72 times 1 is just 0.72, and I have 1.5 times x still on this side. So to get rid of 1.5 multiplied x, we're going to divide it, okay, because that makes this cancel out, and then we just have x left on this side. Okay, but I also need to do it over here. So I divided by 1.5, divide by 1.5, and if you put that in your calculator, y'all, 0.72 divided by 1.5, you still get that same shortcut answer as above, 0.48. Okay, so I did that same thing. This times this divided by that. This times this divided by that. I got that same process. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm going to add these answers in. Okay, so for this question we just did, we said 0.48 liters was our answer on question 2, and on question 1 we said it was 2.22 molar solution was the concentration. Okay, all right, let's look at number 3 together then. I'm going to box and circle. How many moles? That's what they're asking me. That's my unknown. I'm solving for mole. Were used to make a 3.00 liter solution of a 6.0 molar concentration. So there's my capital M, calcium chlorate solution. Okay. So again, I'm going to take those numbers and plug them in right here. So I have a little bit more room to show you my work. Okay, where I said I'm given molarity, so I plug that in for M. I'm not given moles, so I plugged X in on top. And I was given volume, so I plugged that in on the bottom. Okay. Since X is not by itself right now, I need to do some algebra to get it by itself. And I'm going to use crazy 8 because that's easier for me. So I'm going to cheat and put this over 1. So now I have a fraction is equal to a fraction without changing anything really in the problem. And then I'm going to make my crazy 8. I don't want to make it this way because that would put X in the 8. So I'm going to make my crazy 8 that way. I'm going to say this number times this number divided by this one equals X. Okay? So I'll even write that out again if you want. 6.0 times 3.0 divided by 1 equals X. Okay, and you probably don't need a calculator for this, hopefully. 6 times 3 divided by 1 is 18. Okay, so I'd say X equals 18 moles. Okay, I think there are 5 or 6 calculations like this on your homework check, and then there are like 5-ish questions on this on your end of the week quiz. If you're struggling with the calculations, watch the homework tutorial that Miss O'Brien makes that's on Canvas. And remember, you can always retake your Canvas quizzes and do that extra credit, those labs. Okay? It's only helpful. Thanks, y'all.